very good morning from wherever you are joining us this new week of Family Matters Parenting Tuesday, where we shall be discussing and delving into a very beautiful intersection topic of culture and parenting. And we're going to look at parenting through the lens of culture. And I have two amazing guests who are experienced in parenting, and I believe they've already set up a culture and tradition in their families on how they're raising their children, you know, from the Christian perspective and all that. So there's so much to learn about today on culture and parenting, and I hope you'll be joining me on all our socials, which includes SMS number 20316, on WhatsApp 0786316316. Please join in and just let us know what are some of the cultures, or what impact has culture had on your parenting. If you have any question to my guest, please just send them in as we roll out our conversation this morning. Karibuni sana, Bishop and Reverend. Please give us an introduction, introduce yourselves to our audience and our listeners. Let them know to get you. Just kidogo too.
All right. James G. Minor is my name, and this is my beautiful wife. I was told by my mentor to add an adjective. I say this, my wife, one day he asked me, is she ugly?
Yeah.
So Agnes, or Reverend Agnes.
Yes.
We are pastors. We pastor Wisdom Sanctuary Church, international, but a base in Thika.
Okay.
And I would say we are pastorpreneurs. We're in business, doing so many other things.
Awesome.
And she's a scholar and a lecturer too.
Okay.
And a pastor and doing great things.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Pasi, Rev, you'd like to say something?
Yes, of course.
Because you've been spoken for.
We are also parents.
Okay.
So that is very important to establish very early in the show.
Yes.
So we've been married for 23 years.
Okay.
We have 2 children, Gen Zs.
Whoa, yeah.
18 and 14. And we bless God for the journey of parenting.
Yeah.
Children are a blessing from the Lord. And the word says that blessed is the man whose quiver is full of them. So ours is full with 2. Yeah, so we are glad to be here. Thank you, Sally.
Karibuni sana.
Sante.
Karibuni sana. So for me, as we start this very robust conversation, I think this one actually needed 2 hours, not even 1. First, because of you guys with the experience. How is parenting life like? All those years, 18? How has it been like?
You want to begin?
I can say it's been a journey. A journey of hits and misses.
Okay.
And near misses. But also understanding that there's no manual when it comes to parenting. Our source really has been, and our strength has been from the Lord.
Yes.
Asking him questions. Okay, so what do we do here? Sometimes when you parent and you think you have done so well with one child, then you get a curveball with a second child, and you have to go back to the basics, which is the word. For us, our reset button is the word.
I love what you're saying, because in the family devotion this morning, that's actually what we're discussing with the Pastor Mokai in the previous, it was about studying the word of God. At the end of the day, you go back to the word of God, and I love that what you're saying. Coming to you, Bishop, what kind of parenting style do you think you use as the father of the home?
I would say, first of all, the style is you have to demonstrate. Because there are people who tell children what to do, and children don't necessarily follow what you do. What you say. They follow what you do.
Right.
So the style I would say I apply is to demonstrate, to live it.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Because if you don't demonstrate, Jesus came and demonstrated it.
Yeah.
The word became flesh.
Yes.
So children are very sharp. They're very, very sharp.
Yes.
So they pick. And I usually say you have to create that atmosphere, because the atmosphere you kind of create determines the product that you produce.
Okay, true, very true.
Yeah.
And Rev, you being the mommy, by the way, are your kids boy, girls?
A girl and then a boy.
A girl and a boy.
Yeah.
Do you like the boy is yours, like pamper. What kind of parent are you? Because we have the authoritarian, we have the neglectful, we have the permissive, we have the authoritative. What kind of a parent are you?
I am the strict one, the authoritarian one.
Whoa.
But I have learned to tone down.
Yeah.
I was brought up in a very strict environment. And so, you know, he has had to really tone me down because when you're overly strict, then your children move away from trusting you. And trust is a foundational aspect in parenting. If your children don't trust you, they'll learn everything from everyone else except you. So you need to become the go-to person. And so I had to learn how to tone down, yes, be strict, but also balance it, and also show them a fun side that I'm more of a bookworm. So I would be like, you know, book study, you know, mutaratara, let's do this. But he's a balance. He has come into our lives to balance it. That's even my own life, to balance, you know, he's a fun guy. He's the life of the party, you know.
So the parenting definitely balances out at some point. And at this point, how do you then bring in, now we're coming into the topic of the day, do you think it's important to teach culture? Either of you can go. Culture to our children. Is it important?
For example, you know, culture is diverse. So which one are you talking about?
Culture. It could be you have a family culture, like this is what we do, and traditions. It could also go back to how you're raised, you know, your legacy, your
I get you.
Background.
Every house has a culture, and I would say a philosophy of how they do things. And it's upon the philosophy or culture that children pick that, and it informs who they are. There's a scripture when David fell with Bathsheba in Psalms 51. He says, I was conceived in sin, but then he says, I was shaped in iniquity. So that culture is the shaping, how we are shaped. I mean, do I shout to my wife? They see it. What's the atmosphere of the house? Is there peace? Is there joy? Do we shout at each other? How do we solve problems? How is our love languages in the house? So it's that kind of a shaping that actually shapes their soul. And the soul is the mind, the will, the emotions, the imagination, and the intellect. So you can find kids that are battered or beaten down in their soul. They are not confident. They can't speak out because of the atmosphere of the culture you build in the house. So we've done that, and ours is a culture of love, and people are free to express themselves. And we look at each other straight in the eye.
And tell you when it's wrong, it's wrong.
When it's wrong, it's right.
You appreciate each other. Fantastic. Rev, still on that point, do you think your background as a parent has influenced your your children in any way as you parent them?
Absolutely. It's just to say what you want in the background to influence them. You have a right to choose what you would like to be an influencer to your children and what you don't want. For example, you know, in the African culture, we stand up for older people, and I see it slowly drifting away. But for our children, it is something that has already been ingrained. You know, I'm from the coast. By the way, we are so different. He's from Central.
Actually, that's very interesting, because now we'll get to know the different cultures, how they affect them. Awesome.
And so for us, you greet shikamo. Anyone who's older than you, you do not say hi. You do not say, you know, how you doing? Hello. You say shikamo. And they've learned it over time that it is important to stand up. It is important to be courteous to people older. So that is how culture, I've allowed culture to shape us. Now, however, in our society, there's a lot of witchcraft and stuff like that. But that is what I've said no. And that was shielded from us by our dad. He really raised us in a Christian setting. We were in church every Sunday, you know, very faithful. They sat at a specific spot. That's my late dad and my mother, who's still alive. They would sit at a specific sport at the All Saints, and that's where we grew up in you know, the different classes, and so we were shielded from that aspect and ingrained into the culture of the Word of God.
Awesome. Awesome. That's beautiful.
Yes.
So, Bishop, now we have modern types of parenting now. Do you think there's a difference, the way you're raised, you know, back then and now with the modern? Are there any challenges between then and now, and Gen Z's you know?
What I would say is, for example, as the way we were raised very tough. When a parent wanted to tell you, you know, work hard, they would tell you, you know, if I see you're going to become a thief or something like that, you never make it. You know, they loved us, but the language they were used to be spoken to, it was very indirect. And I remember in my early days, I'd never had like affirmations from my parents. But now, because of and I understand, because my parents got born again like when I was a teenager, but later now they shifted. But now when I'm raising my own children now, I have adopted the culture of the Word, the culture of the kingdom. And that's that has helped me to shape them and to build them and give them, speak words that bring life to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of tech stuff going on.
Okay.
And that's what we call digital culture.
Yeah.
How do you manage it in your home?
Wow. I want to start by saying that it is interesting. The New York Times interviewed Steve Jobs and asked him, you know, he's the creator of the iPad. So they were asking him, I'm sure your children have iPads. And he said, no, they have no idea.
Yeah.
And so it behoves us to start to introspect and say, why are we allowing our children into so much of the digital space that is also causing them a lot of harm? So for us, we have really tried to tone down digital and introduce another culture in place of it. It's called displacement, working by displacement.
Okay.
If you remove something, then replace it with something else.
Yes.
So we do not have, what do you call it, this PlayStations. We've never owned any. No, we don't. But we have books.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the culture
Reading
that we
culture.
have, introduced is a reading culture. I mean, they've even put me in the box. Now we have like a book club where you every weekend we like go to Karura and share what you've been reading, which book you've been reading.
Actually, we go
as a
and read.
family.
It's a reading time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like Saturdays, maybe at around 3 p.m.
Yeah.
We just go there. Everybody takes a book.
Yeah.
For about 2 hours.
Yeah.
Then we come and share. And most of these books are self-help, entrepreneurship.
And entrepreneurship books.
Yeah, leadership.
For the kids as
For the
well?
kids.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that has helped. As she said, our kids are not interested in TV. I've never even seen them watch TV.
Wow.
Gadgets we limit because they have to work sometimes with phones.
At what point did you start this?
Very early.
Yeah?
Let me say something. Kids, you have to start from down there.
Yes.
Samaki mkunje akiwa mbichi.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
So what happens is when you're raising a kid will either control you or you control them as a parent. And kids are very clever because they study you.
Absolutely.
And they know, Mom, her word is not a word. She means nothing. She just stops.
She won't react.
She won't react. She'll just say, I'll beat you, I'll beat you, I'll beat you. So we were very tough on disciplining from down there.
Yeah.
1 year, 2 years, I mean, like,
wow.
Very strict.
Wow.
So what happened is when we became that, we molded them, and they understood this is authority, this is how far you can go. So, like the way you find parents got with kids to a supermarket,
and
I want this tantrum.
Yeah.
Tantrum,
Yeah.
Where are you going to throw? Whose house are you going to throw tantrum?
I love that.
Yeah. I mean, and they know.
That.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely,
we'll go with
know.
our kids even to church They would sit. We visit places. I mean, at 2 years old, 1 year old, 3 year old. I hear people say, oh, you know, these are kids.
And people get shocked. Like, how do you? Probably you don't even beat them, you know, or see, even if you spank.
What happens, I usually say this in raising parents.
Yes.
You have to choose.
Yes.
To break them. You know that every person has a breaking point.
Yes.
Even in taming, like when they tame animals, I breed dogs.
Yes, yeah, okay.
So there's a breaking point. Everybody has a breaking point. So a child either breaks you or you break them. It's a break, and in the language of taming is like a broken in.
Whoa.
Taming, a broken in. And that's how even the yoke of Christ, that's how we have to be broken in to take the yoke of Christ.
Yes.
So what happens is, there's a place where the child understands. I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
And they just understand.
And do you both agree? Like, does Rev come in and say, or do you both agree that, yes, this is the kind of discipline we're going to implement here? Do you both agree?
Well, there are some times when we've had to step in and he's had to say, okay, now here, stop, let's handle it in a different way.
Yes.
And I've also had to say, okay, now this one, if you pass here, it's gonna be bad.
Yes.
Yeah. So there are moments we've agreed, there are moments when we've had difference in opinions because we've also been cultured differently. We are different human beings.
Right. Yeah.
Even after 23 years.
And all that.
You know?
Correct.
And just to top up.
Yeah.
So a child, what happens is you either become tough and enjoy the rest of the journey, or you relax, and every time will be, yo, John, I mean, for 15 years, 20 years, you're like, I'll beat you. So we don't do those things.
No. Yeah.
So we did it fast, and we were tough.
Wow.
We established the course and the rules. The rest of the journey has been very easy.
It's just like, you know, what will you choose first? When Christ comes into our lives, we have the bitter part first. We are broken. The things that we were handling before have to go away, you know. We go through the bitter fast, and then we start to enjoy the love relationship with him, the sweet. But the enemy gives you the sweet fast. And then you enjoy life, then you have, you know, the side effects. The maybe you're alcoholic, you're addicted, the bitter comes later. So it's the same principle. Do you want bitter, then sweet, or do you want sweet and then bitter?
I'm just having wow moments here. I'm just like, wow, you know.
And most parents, they let me say something. When I see a child who is indisciplined, I don't blame the child.
Absolutely.
No.
It's a parent.
Because they come to this world as a clean slate.
Actually, they are neutral. They're just like soil. Soil, you can plant anything. So when I see a child who is crazy, I just know it's a parent. And so what happens is most parents, they don't want to rebuke or correct a child, not because they care about the child, they care about themselves. Or the child may misunderstand me, or they may not
feel
love
like
me.
Don't love them.
So you care about you, you don't care about them.
The future of this child.
But if you really love your child, oh my goodness, you will chastise them.
The word says, train up the child in the way that they should go. You have to do the training. No one is going to come and do the training of your children for you. You have to take, you know, just
and the training, like Bishop said, is even just by observation.
Absolutely.
They say children are like what, sponges? They just absorb.
They soak in.
You know, they soak in all those things. I just want to speak to my viewers and tell them, you know, keep sending those. I know whatever they are, they're also getting powerful insights from here. And I just want to encourage them to keep sending, you know, their messages, comments, compliments, because very good parenting tips here in Culture on 20386 on SMS and also on WhatsApp 0786 316 316, and let us know what you think about this very interesting, beautiful topic of parenting and culture. So you know, you're here and you're from the coast, and Pasi is from
Mount Kenya.
Murima.
Yes.
I knew that would come.
So I'm just wondering, how are you able to now teach them your different cultural heritage and yours, Rev, because they're two different cultures, isn't it? What do you do to teach them from your end and from your end.
You know, interesting enough, I don't even remember we are from different tribes.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know about you. It's a way we've, I think, by coming to Christ, we've just woven together that the aspect of different tribe doesn't really come in a lot. Doesn't really come in a lot. I believe when we came to Christ, now we become a new tribe, and I mean, unfortunately, they just know very little of Kikuyu words. And maybe shikamoo nini. But ask the question.
Because I'm thinking that those some practices or cultures that really are there probably from your end. Let's go through initiation, for example. Your son, I don't know if he's already gone through that passage, but of course the way you do it is not the way they do it at their place. So was it different? Things like those now. And also she spoke about how even kwa mkuu watu wakubwa wazima, it's different. In your home, is it shosho sasa? Those kind of things. Those are cultural
you know, for us, like now, you know, it's like hi shosho, hi gu, and they play with them. They have, they have fun with them. So it's a bit, it's a bit relaxed. And now initiation is not like the way it was during our days. I think things have also been very
changed,
modernized.
they've evolved.
Things have really evolved.
So what I would add on there is that we also take them to the different setups. Every year, we are either at the coast, you know, or in central, because we live in Nairobi. So they have moments to interact with both sides. Now, you need to realize that our parents also are very educated, both sides. And so some of those traditions that were there before were not, have not been, because of the knowledge that came in through education. So, you know, the bare minimum is they have to be courteous, you know, they have to, you know, those are the things that we've ingrained. But in terms of whether they talk, we've left it to the grandparents. So
and also, like you said, you know, children just, by the moment they're in that environment, you know, they pick different things. They hear different things. You know?
Absolutely. The other day, our daughter was telling me, oh, I want to learn Kigiriama. And I'm like, okay, I am not Kigiriama, I'm Kambe. So, you know, things like that. They, when they are around them, of course, they'll hear, like, they speak in Kikuyu. I'm not a linguist, I'm a mathematician. So my brain refused with the languages, right?
That's what happens.
But they start to pick interest, to have their own interest. I want to learn this. And that's what we like. We expose them to different environments. Let me just put a caveat there and say, you know, as you expose your children to different environments, like we said, we have generated a reading culture. So much so is it ingrained in our children. Our daughter wants to be an entrepreneur.
She is.
She's
already one.
She is. And for a minute, let me just talk about the two of them. So our son has written a book at the age of 9.
Wow.
This is his first book. He has a second book. We didn't have it. It's called 7 Qualities of a Wise Boy.
Wow.
At the age of 9.
What?
9. And that was really triggered.
That's where the PlayStation time went.
That's where the PlayStation time went.
Oh, wow.
So it was triggered by, you know, seeing our mentor is Dr. Mike Maddock. He has, how many? 3,000 books?
2,000.
And his dad is also an author. By the way, we are both authors. So it was triggered by
that. Be that perfect? Okay.
And so by the age of 9, he was like, I want to write. So I was like, what do you want to write about? And so we walked him through that process.
Mentorship comes in.
Yes, mentorship comes in. Then our daughter, we've exposed her to very many things. And now she's speaking, she has picked up the entrepreneurial side. And she's a public speaker. And if you hear her speak, Sally, you'd be like, do we know you? You know, there have been conferences. She's spoken in Botswana. She's headed to Uganda and Zambia, fully paid for, and Tanzania in the coming year, to just speak to young children on entrepreneurship. This is what she does. She does tote bags. This is her work.
Wow. That's beautiful.
She does. She designs them. She works with someone. She wants to go into the orange economy. Now, tell me, if they were on PlayStation, would we be having them being able to communicate and talk to people?
Rev, even then, Bishop, at age 9, were you thinking like this?
Oh, we were
Kalongolongo
and then sliding.
Sliding them. They used to slide.
Sliding
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So those are some of the cultures you've incorporated and taught your children.
And we are seeing the fruit, you know, the fruit must speak.
Yes.
When you interact with them, many people tell us, how do you raise them? How have you done it? But it's because, you know, first of all, God has to be in the center of all this. Because when we came together, we really didn't know how to raise a family. So our reliance has been on God, you know, and then making right choices. I don't want our children to just be, you know, coach potatoes. But you know, be able to use their gifts, their talents, they explore them, know them, and do something that will shape their generation.
But now, so what do they do for, you know,
for leisure,
their hobbies? Is it just about books?
You see what happens is, let me first of all say, most parents are trying to tell their children, don't do this.
That's a good point.
But you tell them what to do.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm speaking in a youth meeting this week, and we were talking with one of the pastors who's hosting me, and I was saying, the problem is, like, when I look at my son, you have to check their appetites, their cravings.
Yes.
Because even the word of God says friendship with the world is enmity with God. So what do you do when you capture or you influence what they crave for? Like if they desire God, if they desire, you expose them to reading, like the reading we do. Once our brain expands, it cannot come back to its original size. Once you are exposed, you cannot be unexposed.
You can't be the same, yes.
You can never be the same again. So like our daughter, right now she's an entrepreneur, she's speaking. She's already thinking as an adult. So there's no room for nonsense. She cannot tolerate that because there's a certain opening of her thinking and exposure that has already come in. So for us, that's what we have decided to do. Show them what to do. Instead, because if you don't do that, you follow them, don't do this, why are you doing that, stop that,
and
I told you.
You can't be everywhere with them every time.
You can't be everywhere.
Absolutely.
And most kids are very smart. They know your rules. So while you're away, it's like Tom and Jerry, you know what I mean?
Correct.
Tom and Jerry. I mean, you know, okay, mom is away, okay, let's live our life. So when they hear you're coming in the parking, everything is put aside. And they're, hi mom, books are there.
Perfect children.
Clean children. But you see, that's not how you should nurture them. You should actually put those appetites. So
coming to what you've asked, they do have hobbies. Let's start with the girl. She's an award-winning photographer. She loves to take photographs. And she does have her Instagram page is called KOSO_luxury. And all the reels there, she has done them. She has done them herself.
So that's how she passes her time when she's reading books.
And she loves to just explore nature and take photos of people.
She disturbs us to take her to
it's
places.
amazing. Then she also is a worshiper and she plays the guitar. So that also, at 10 p.m. you'll just hear her. We don't push her.
No.
She's like, I've got to practice.
And neither do you limit her as
well.
No,
neither do we limit her. So you'll hear her in the room. You wake up from the sleep and you're hearing some, and you're like, oh, okay. You know. So she's self-driven. One of the things that has helped them also is the curriculum that we ended up doing, the accelerated Christian curriculum, where it is self-driven. So you have to set your own goals and work towards them. Coming to the boy, the boy is very sporty. So he does golf. And the other day he was telling me, Mommy, should I let others win? And I was like, no, go for it. If you're good at it, go for it.
So now, because, your children, you've raised them in town, like you said, in Nairobi. Let's, go back to kids who are not this privileged, quote unquote. How would you advise such parents? They're out there in shags, Mombasa or whatever. What advice would you give them?
So I would say this. I believe every community has a ball. You know, so let them pass time doing something. We are having problem with children getting these non-communicable diseases, your diabetes, because they're sitting too much. Let them go out. Let them explore their talents, whatever it is, whatever even the skipping, even whatever it is. That's just a rope you need, and you don't need a high-tech rope. No. Yeah, the balls we used to make with socks and play cutting. You know, or papers. So you know, there's something that can be done, and I know there are initiatives that have been started, Uko Mashinani, where you know they bring together children and they support them to do soccer, especially the boys, etc., netball, etc. Look for those, plug in. There's a solution around you. Don't just stay indoors.
And of course, even the education, you know, syllabus has changed to CBC.
To CBC, where
there a lot of
absolutely looking for their talents. Trying to tease out their talents at a young age, so that you grow on that line. Okay. So also, when it comes to, you know, there are libraries around you. Kenya National Library has a branch in almost every county, and for the children, all they need is just a letter from the school, and you're allowed to enter free, or it's a very minimal charge. I know for adults it's like 20 bob a day. My parents used ingrain that into us. We would go to the National Library. So once in a while I do take them to the National Library. So I mean, there is solution around you. Just open your eyes.
And you get to see them. Culture and parenting. And if you're joining us right now, we've been discussing about the impact of, or looking at parenting with the lens of culture, and it's been an amazing discussion here with Rev and Bishop as we discuss the different ways, you know, and different parenting styles, and how, you know, you just allow your kids to be, but in a very formed, you know, way. But before we continue and catch up on go on with our robust conversation, I can see there's someone here saying they didn't give their name. Good morning, Sally and the panelists. How we were brought up, it was authoritative aspect, just like Bishop said, but now we have to be democratic for mutual understanding and peaceful environment, and try to accommodate our children much more. And I think, Bishop, you had mentioned that. Let's see if there's a question. And then, you know, someone also is saying, good morning, great show and learning from those ahead. My question to Bishop specifically is, at what age do you address tantrums? That's Arthur who is asking that question. And then, of course, there's someone also here, just before we continue, who is saying, Rev and Bishop, may God bless you. I am Alan Arika, church warden and a Sunday school teacher. My children are 10.8 and a 3-year. They know there is a way of doing things. Respect. We have shown them what to do. I tell parents, maybe at time their children are the copyright. The children are copyright of what they do and behave like the parents. Nakuru SCK Church of the Good Shepherd. So, Rev, the question I think was addressed to you. You know, you can just tell us, you know, at what age do you start addressing tantrums? Bishop, yes, Bishop, the tantrum bit.
I say that you need to start when they are down there.
Yes.
I was telling somebody 2 days ago, the Bible says, discipline a child while there's still hope.
Yes.
What does that mean? If you reverse it or flip it, it means don't discipline your child when there's no hope. And the same conversation we had is, you have to work with your children while their hearts are still tender.
Okay.
Because a time comes when they harden like clay. So when that happens, it will be so hard, because you lost time. In their molding process. They build their own system, they build their own people they trust, they build their own philosophy, their own culture. So to answer that question, you need to begin very early enough. When it comes to discipline, discipline, the Bible says speak the truth in love. speak the truth in love. So the truth has to be spoken. This is wrong. I don't like this. And when you actually tell them that you discipline or you're gonna beat or whatever, let me not use the word beat, discipline.
Yes.
What happens is do it. Most parents don't keep their word. So you're like, I'll do this, and then you never do.
Yeah.
So they just know you're a joker.
Yeah.
And they know your word is not the word.
So the tantrum bit, you start very early on the onset.
Start on the onset.
Okay.
And it should be a no negotiation.
Okay.
It can be a reward system. You know, I'm going to give you this if you are doing like this, or you're going to sit up, no football, no this.
All right.
Yeah.
Fine. Asa, I think that answers Arthur's question. Rev, I don't know if you have something to add.
Just you know, carrot and stick.
Okay.
Is majorly what I use. Like now, there's some goals my son needed to do, and I was like, so what? If you get them, what do you want to do? So he says, I want to go to the gym.
Yeah.
You know, now he's older. So I'm like, okay, fine, get
He's
there.
the first one?
No, the second one.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm like, get there, then we see how you can get to the gym.
So you have a culture of also, you can sit and
reward
have a conversation and reward, you know. So
and actually what happens, when discipline is tough down there, it's a roller coaster the rest of the journey. It's fun. Because I remember, like, even our daughter, we discipline her very tough early. The rest of the time, it's fun because they know their boundaries. And that's why I said, you either choose to be so easy, loose, and not tough, then every time they will be wasting your time. Nobody will concentrate in the house.
Mustn't count. You
know, It's like, you
Tom
know,
and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry. So, but when you really put in the rules, this is what it is, these are the boundaries, you understand? And if you do this, even the word of God. I mean, God told the children, Adam and Eve, if you eat the tree,
these are the consequences.
These are the consequences. So those have to be true. So we fellowship in the light. We fellowship when you do good things, not when you are in darkness. I don't agree in you when you are going wrong. So it's been so easy for us. So most people may think we are so authoritarian. No, that's not the picture we are bringing. When you bring the discipline early enough, then the rest of the journey is fun.
And from what you've just talked about, I would just want to bring in Rev on this one. In terms of, Bishop has spoken about, there's an age, after that age the child hardens. Is there hope still for a parent who is watching or listening to us? Is there hope?
The word says a living dog is better than a dead lion. So there is hope. Only that you will have to work harder and extra. For example, we have a friend whose son had some issues, and now my husband is working with him. Now, you know, you have to now bring in like other people to help out with the situation, especially when your children no longer trust you. And I said from the very beginning, trust, you know, trust has to be built. You just don't earn trust. You have to build it over time. And I remember even our daughter, I was very tough, extremely, excessively tough. So at some point, my husband had to tell me, you know, she's scared of you now. You have brought in fear. You know, and so she couldn't trust me. So I had to start looking for ways before she gets to her teenage. She was just about, her teenage years, and I had to look for ways where I can rebuild trust. And it happened one time when she was going for an activity and we went together, and she was telling her teacher, Mommy, you'll be so harsh on me. Then the teacher told me, and I told my daughter, imagine your teacher is the one in charge. I will tell you nothing.
Wow.
So
and that changed the relationship.
It was our turning point. And as I said before, we've had near misses. We've also gone through the tough parenting system, you know, the things that are thrown at us that are, you know, somebody just comes with interesting things, you know, that you didn't expect. But we have had to help one another and also seek God's word. What is your counsel, Lord? What is your mind on this situation?
And I can add something on that. So, there has to be a difference between instilling fear and correcting in love. Because when you do it in fear, now the trust element disappears. And
is it at that point that you actually now started that culture of now friendliness and being just cordial with the children. Was that a turning point?
It started earlier, but I think when I noticed the way my wife and her relationship with our daughter was going on, I told her, so this is it. Most parents come from home, from work, you're tired.
Yeah.
Yes.
You are so frustrated, so what do? You vent. On the children.
Child, yeah.
So you have to differentiate between dealing with an issue in the child, on the child, or are you venting out your anger, maybe to Mekosana? And that's what most parents do. Husband and wife are not agreeing, so the victims are the children. So most parents vent. Don't vent. Don't release your anger on a child, because it will bring...
Actually, for me, that was a eureka moment. When I get home, and the stress of the traffic and all that, I sit in the car. And they know, everyone knows, I sit in the car, give me time, because if I do get out, I will now, unleash.
Come here.
Be very vicious, So I have to just sit first. Let me reacclimatize. I'm at home. This is a different environment. Let me circle back to something else we didn't say. When we had, we don't live with a domestic manager. That now helped our relationship with our children. And I'm not saying you do this, but there could be those in that situation and you're thinking, all the housework is on me, etc. Look at it from a different perspective. It actually makes the family grow closer because you don't have an external party. So you have to just figure out things together. So like he comes
the
first,
solution
he cooks.
comes from within.
From within.
And he likes to cook. Praise God, he loves to cook.
Oh, wow.
So if he gets there before me, he's able to do something. We've taught our children, all of them can cook. Even the 14-year-old.
So here, no culture boundaries like, you're a man.
No.
And can I
Yes, sure,
It's something very important. Most parents right now, life is very tough, especially this year, last year, and the other years. Life is tough. So parents are busy trying to make a living for the children. But while you're busy, and even some of us who are pastors and ministers, you're casting out demons out there, but demons are coming back home. That's one thing I'm saying. Before you realize, and there's a lacking a connection. You don't connect with your kids. And you need to be so sensitive and be one-on-one with them because you can push them so much to read and study. But this kid is becoming gay. You don't know. This kid is on drugs. You don't know. So
addicted to pornography.
Addicted
you have no
to
idea.
pornography. You think they are, and this is passing parents. They don't know. And especially parents who are serving God.
I was coming to that. I wanted to ask that.
Parents who are in ministry. So what I usually tell people is slow down. Please slow down. Because life is so fast.
You're on the highway throughout.
You're the highway throughout. Like I travel a lot. I travel a lot, and sometimes, like last year, I went so many countries, Europe, US, and and I had to reach a time and say, hey, my son, I realize drift. It's actually a drift. It's usually a drift.
Slowly.
It's a very slow drift. And then I notice, I say, hey, wait. And we have to look at each other eye to eye. How are you doing? And then, who teaches your children relationships? When do they first hear about sex? Is it from outside or is it from you?
So, wow. As parents, you're sounding, this is just perfect, family and stuff. But I'm sure you've gone through challenges in terms of even trying to impact their lives in different ways, the cultures and tradition that you have in your home. What are some of the challenges probably you've gone through as parents, Rev?
Well, circling back to just what the story he was giving, he started telling me something is wrong with our son. And I'm like, I have no idea.
You have to pick.
You have to pick. And the good thing is that he's very prophetic. My daughter is also very prophetic. Okay, so most of us in the house, let me just say that. But
and those who are not prophetic, Be instinctive. Because you can say those are bishops and left.
That's a direct message to them.
Me see bishop na left. Yeah. Instinct.
Direct message to the audience.
Yeah.
Let me also qualify this. Study the countenance of the other person.
Okay.
When your children can no longer look at you in the eye, something is amiss.
Yeah.
So he started picking it. Then my daughter had a dream. And she normally shares with me her dreams. And I was like, okay, something is happening. So he goes to look for his shirt and finds my son's phone hidden inside. So he's like, what's up?
Yeah.
What's this? Because the phones are placed, like most of the time it's in my room or, you know, or charging. So he opens the phone because we have the password.
Yes.
And
Wow.
I was like,
It was a
Jesus
Pandora's box.
Jesus is Lord.
Is this around the time you're traveling a lot?
Yeah,
So
Yes.
So your tradition of sitting together and is no longer there.
Yeah.
It's just like Adam was so busy counting animals, he did
And on
not
the other
realize Eve was speaking to the serpent.
Yeah.
So you can be busy reaching other people, raising other people's kids, but yours have been taken by the devil. It's a very big danger. So
you can pick it from
at
there.
that time, we had to do some serious disciplining.
Okay.
Oh, it was thorough.
So you also have disciplining in that.
my God.
Fantastic.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, I usually say sometimes, the belt is anointed.
It has some anointing on it.
This is anointed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a place for that, and then after that, then we had to talk.
Okay.
And then now he opens up and says, Dad, I've been struggling with this, I've been doing this, the other thing. So, and now we start working together. And it's most parents don't want to talk about such issues, about relationships, about sex. But let me tell you, who's going to talk to your children?
And I love that because we are just about to get to the end of the program. Imagine.
This was meant to be a 2 hours.
Go. I know. So we have a part 2. 3 minutes to go. And so, very briefly, I would just want to know, what advice would you have for parents out there who probably had no idea that even, setting up traditions, rules, culture, you have a culture at home, even with the extended family would work. What advice would you have for them very briefly? Then Bishop can, like in 30 seconds, and then Bishop can close.
I would put it like this. We have a couple of books we have written.
Okay.
Just get the books. We cannot exhaust. There's the law of posture, 7 mistakes people make while in the presence of greatness. These ones are written by Bishop. And then this one is releasing the goodness of a woman. Talks about the goodness aspect of a woman and how to set the climate and atmosphere of the house.
Then they're able to know the traditional and culture and
we start
package.
to give you tools to help you, not just for the family. These tools can traverse your workplace, etc., but also, very important, start from home.
Fantastic. Very good wrap up.
I would say mentorship is key.
Okay.
So if there are areas you find you're struggling, look for mentors. Look out for people who are raising children or people you admire.
Yes.
So it's very important to pursue a mentor and to learn and sit under other people that can develop you in areas that you're not good at. And finally, what you want in your life, become that.
Wow.
You have to become.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
Become what you want to be. You want to produce.
Yeah.
Because you already produce what you are.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So it's not trying to tell children do that. No. Be that.
Be that.
And then they will get it from you.
Oh, I love that.
Because what you are, you reproduce.
What a powerful finishing. Thank you so much, Bishop.
Welcome.
Thank you so much, Agnes. This was amazing, and I know as my viewer and listener, you've definitely learned a lot, and you've definitely picked some amazing insights on just how you can be this amazing parent, with all the cultures and traditions that you've set for your children. Remember, you start that from the onset. And of course, just to embrace and thank our partners who've made this possible, this kind of content possible. We want to say thank you to each and every person who's held our hand to ensure that we are on air and we are giving you clean content. And so if you want to be part of this amazing community, please send your name, the name partner, on SMS 20316 or WhatsApp 0786 316 316 to be a partner. Or if you have something that you want to bless us with, you know, God has just prompted you or touched you to give, please do that on our pay bill number 316 316, and the account name will be your telephone number. May God bless you, may God favor you, and may He shine His face upon you. And let's see you tomorrow on Family Matters, on Financial Clinic, where I shall be discussing about taxes. Yeah? God bless you and have an amazing day.